a long time ago, I think around the first time I got paid, I was like, am I going to become a Jurassic Park YouTuber? Like, is this what's going to happen? And I didn't really think about it after that too much. I had ordered like some comic books from Jurassic Park to like review and cover and share with people over the time. And just eventually that's what happened. And I gladly fell into it. I was like, I had no idea the franchise was this big, to be quite frank. And the more I discovered, the more I wanted to share. And it just fell into the business in the way that people really, really liked it. So I was like, this is it. This is what we're going with. This is what we're doing. So
welcome to Dino Park Media. My name is Samuel, and today we have an incredible opportunity, a wonderful interview that that I'm personally looking forward to doing today with Klayton Fioriti. I am thinking fangirling right now. Klayton, we have him here. We're going to be asking him some questions. Klayton, why don't you go ahead and say hello?
Hi guys, it's me. Thank you for the very kind words, man. Again, it's very, very nice of you.
Well, dude, it's real. Like I told you earlier, since 2018, I've been watching your videos, and something I forgot to mention earlier is actually the reason that I got into YouTube, wanting to do videos and stuff like that, is because I wanted to add more content that would be complementary to what you're doing, because I have such respect for what you do. So really, your videos inspired me to want to also hop into YouTube. So I have nothing but respect for you, man.
Thank you. It's very, very kind. Very nice. Very happy to hear that. It's yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I'm not trying to kiss any butts or anything like that.
Right. I got you.
Yeah, that's the way it is. But Klayton, we have a great interview ahead of us that I'm excited to just get to know more about the person that really has a huge voice within the Jurassic community. So you're on YouTube. You've been on YouTube for how many years now?
Oh, almost 4. I think April Fool's Day will make the 4th year, which I always do like a stupid April Fool's joke like every year. So yeah, I don't know if people realize that yet, because I always try to trick them. But yeah, it's almost 4 years.
Last year with the Jaws and the Jurassic Park coinciding thing, you had me until something was where I forgot where it was, but something started going off the rails where I'm like, this is a joke. This is April Fool's.
Oh man, I'm so happy that like I remember writing that with Jack and Tony, and Tony's from Cinemassacre, like the angry video game nerd stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He's got his own thing, Hack of the Movies, which is doing really good on YouTube right now. But he played such a poor Peter Jackson. Like his accent went from New Zealander to Australian to like Texas.
Yeah.
It gave the whole thing away.
No, dude, that video was wonderful. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what you got for this year. I mean, which is right around the corner here. Yeah. So, but it's going to be 4 years in April. Is that right?
Yeah, 4 years. Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's amazing. And so you've been around for a good portion of the Jurassic World time frame here, going into what we have now with the modern Jurassic World part of the franchise. And but before we jump into more of the YouTube stuff, a question that I like to ask people, because it's not asked nearly enough, is what's your favorite dinosaur?
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Bam. Just right off the bat, that was an easy one. And so, I mean, and obviously you're a huge fan of Rexy, right? That specific name. You really enjoy that. Is that correct?
No. I do not like calling the T-Rex Rexy. I mean, I understand where they're coming from. It is in the book. Like it's in the book, but it's whenever I was reading Michael Crichton's book, I always thought Muldoon was more like, hey, Rexy, I'm going to put a bullet in you. Like I never thought it was like, oh, Rexy, she's just killing someone over there. Come on, girl. Like, it's just like not a fan of it. I actually don't really like naming the T-Rex or any of the T-Rexes in general. I mean, I love T-Rex, Tyrannosaurus Rex. My favorite out of the whole franchise is actually the father from the Lost World. I think that's a incredible animal design in general. But if you name a raptor, it's different. Like in the book, there's a velociraptor named Clarence. There's also a velociraptor Blue, Echo, Delta. Those are more like militarized, like code names. So it makes more sense. But Yeah, I don't like the name Rexy.
Yeah, it's comical just how much I'm able to see on Instagram and YouTube. You just go like, that's not my favorite. It's definitely a recurring theme. But then, but also, what was your opinion on in Camp Cretaceous season 2, like naming the baryonyx, the different baryonyx dinosaurs?
Oh, well, I mean, to tell you the truth, I saw that in the script as more of like, we got to sell like different colored toys, but
Yeah.
which I don't really care. I mean, they're kids on the island. Like if a kid wants to call a baryonyx chaos or something, like that's not a problem for me. It's just in live action, if that were to go down, if like someone would be like, I named these baryonyx, be like, why?
Yeah, no, I hear that. But but T-Rex, that's your favorite.
Oh,
and
yeah.
why is the T-Rex your favorite? I mean, obviously a lot of people, not me necessarily, but some people might go like, oh, you're just going with the generic T-Rex as its most popular. But why is the T-Rex your favorite? It's got to be a reason for it.
Oh, well, you know, a lot of it goes back to just being a kid, you know, and watching these movies growing up. But T-Rex was always a dinosaur that I was actually interested in paleontologically. I've had quite a few conversations actually with paleontologists, like in the real world, talking about how T-Rex lived, hunted, ate, how fast it was, what it could smell like, you know, like the binocular vision and everything like that. And I actually have a video that hopefully will come out soon where I interviewed a paleontologist on how the Jurassic Park T-Rex specifically measures up to the real animal. And it's surprisingly quite close. I mean, T-Rex is a fascinating dinosaur because this thing is just, it's a tank. I know that a lot of the dinosaurs weren't necessarily unkillable beasts, or you know, you could kill anything really, but a T-Rex is for lack of a better term, it is a monster. Like the thing, it's super strong. We're talking about the strongest land animals that we know of anyway so far ever. They were mean. They killed each other all the time. They got into some of the most brutal and bloody fights possible. When they're babies, other dinosaurs would try to kill them because they don't want it to grow up. You know, a Triceratops would probably try to like trample an infant Rex into the ground, or a Quetzalcoatlus would come and swoop one down and eat it. And you get this is such a gigantic, beautiful animal, and that as the science keeps getting better and better each year, we learn that they're actually bigger than we used to think, and they're actually meaner than we used to think. We learn that they literally might be the king of the dinosaurs, full stop. I know people talk about Spinosaurus, Carcharodontosaurus, Giganotosaurus, but T-Rex is T-Rex for a reason. I mean, I love that animal as an animal, and it is a little generic, but so what? T-Rex.
Dude, yeah. I mean, and also it doesn't hurt that that the T-Rex is definitely like almost like a hero dinosaur, like the big dinosaur for Jurassic Park series too.
I mean, they knew back when they put that thing on the logo that it was gonna be around and inspiring kids for like ever. It already had been for nearly 100 years since they'd found it. So, I mean, it's held up really well. T-Rex is my hero, I guess. Yeah, you can say that.
No, I hear that, man. I hear that. But dude, so obviously, going back to Jurassic Park, I mean, like Jurassic Park is a huge part of what you do on YouTube. I mean, it's really one of the main things that you do on YouTube, with the whole Klayton Fioriti channel being dedicated now to Jurassic Park and dinosaurs. But it all had to go back to something in the beginning. You know, there had to be something to initiate your appreciation for the franchise. So what was your first experience with Jurassic Park? Whether it was seeing a movie, riding like the ride in Hollywood or Universal in Florida, like what was your first experience with Jurassic?
Wow. So that logo has been around for like my whole life. Or I mean, not really my, well, yeah, you know what, my whole life. Anyways, really, I don't exactly remember the first time I saw Jurassic Park, but I know that I can remember when I got Jurassic Park on VHS, because my aunt used to actually run she used to be a school teacher, and she taught the 5th grade. And one day she said, "Hey Klayton, I've got some tapes for you, some videotapes." And I was about 3 years old, and she put a reptilian documentary movie from the 80s that had like a bunch of turtles on the front cover, and then she put Jurassic Park, and I knew what the logo was. I'd seen the movie before. I was like, Jurassic Park, and I like grabbed it and I was all about it. And I remember watching that movie over and over again. And I had all the toys. I mean, these are my earliest memories, really, when we talk about my connection with the original Jurassic Park. And when I was 3 years old was around the time that they were really pushing Lost World. And that is probably why that movie is so special to me, is it's so nostalgic, is because I can remember walking into like a Kmart and seeing the the stickers that they would have for all the Site B stuff and the concept art of the T-Rex and stuff, and had all the toys. I actually remembered, it's funny that we're talking about this, but I just realized like a week ago that my friend, when I was a kid, lied to me, because he told me that he had a Lost World Jurassic Park Tamagotchi, and that the T-Rex had died, and now all that was left was a portrait of the T-Rex. And I remember as a kid thinking, that's a pretty lame toy if your dinosaur dies and you can't even like restart it. It's just like a picture of it. So for the last like 10 years, I've been looking on the internet for like Lost World Jurassic Park Tamagotchi, and I realized he lied to me, and it was one of those things that you got out of cereal. It was just like it was just a little picture of like a holographic T-Rex, and I found that in a cereal box. It's like, that's it. That's like, why would they give a Tamagotchi to? And I was like, he lied to me.
All those years ago, how dare he?
Yeah, I actually did kind of sting a little bit, because he was a little bit older than me, so I think he was trying to like prove that he was cooler or something. And I was like,
oh yeah,
you little.
Yeah. Yep. So did you reach out to him again and go like, listen, I know what you did,
I haven't seen him since like 1999. I don't even know what his name is.
So yeah, he's doing his own thing now, but
yeah.
But really, your first experience is really with like when you were 3 years old and the Lost World coming out, just really being surrounded by that franchise, because it was in Kmart. It was just really everywhere at that point.
Oh, it was all over the place. I remember going to the I don't know if you guys had arcades back then like we still did, but we had something called Aladdin's Castle, and they had the Lost World Jurassic Park sit-down arcade where it would say something has survived, and the lightning would flash, and you could go in there and pull drapes back. So you were in there like in the dark shooting dinosaurs. I love all of that era of the Lost World. That is why I think I became, apart from the original Jurassic Park, but that second movie and the hype for it, and being terrified when I saw it on VHS, that's what I think really made me really into the movies.
Oh, dude, I can get that. I mean, being completely inundated with all of that's really what got me going with Jurassic Park again during the 25th anniversary, just back in 2018. Like when I started watching your videos, I was just like, I was surrounded by Jurassic Park at every turn. I'm like, I need to be a part of this super fandom, so like I get that, but it just took me a little bit longer. I'm a late bloomer, I guess. But when it comes to the Jurassic Park franchise, were you immediately a super fan, like all the way back from when you were 3 years old, being surrounded by the Lost World stuff? Were you a super fan then, or did it take you a little while to go like, no, this is definitely my favorite movie and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, no, as far back as I remember, I was into Jurassic Park and dinosaurs. Like they went hand in hand. I was always in a Jurassic Park. I can't really ever think of a time where I sat down and said, no, I don't like that. But I was always into it. I mean, there was a period of time in wait for Jurassic Park 4 where I specifically singled out Jurassic Park 3 and used to think that, but I don't hate that movie. And it's actually funny because I can remember after around like 2007, 2008, Jurassic Park as a trilogy was actually getting made fun of a lot, especially like I remember going to lunch at school and people would not just Jurassic Park 3, they would throw Lost World and the first movie under the bus and say how it was like the whole thing was like a joke. Those movies used to be so popular, now they are terrible. And it was kind of hard to go on with it. Really had to be kind of a closeted Jurassic Park fan until Jurassic World came out anyways. But yeah, I've always been a fan of the series. I've always loved Jurassic Park as far back as I can remember. When I was 11 years old, I got really into the books. And I remember being actually disappointed in the Lost World book because of how different it was from the movie. But yeah, I've been a fan forever. I've been a super fan of this more than anything else.
Well, I mean, that definitely comes through in your videos too. But going back to like the people making fun of you at lunch in 2008. I mean, what were they fans of? Like Transformers?
Um, it was more like just skateboarding, I guess. I don't think
Oh,
people really cared about anything back then except for like the stupid stuff like Epic Movie or Meet the Spartans. Like,
oh my gosh, no.
really, like, I don't remember.
Yeah, nah. We'll just forget that. I mean, the 2000s weren't necessarily known for having the best movies. There was a couple gems, you know, like The Dark Knight and stuff like that, but Inception. But yeah, I think we're in a better time now with a couple of the modern movies. But
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, but speaking of YouTube though, I mean, because I mean, honestly, if most people that are going to be listening to this video, listening to us doing this interview, they're here because of seeing you on YouTube. And so, when did you first consider doing YouTube? I mean, because like you've been doing this for it'll be 4 years in April. When did you start considering it though? Like, was it you thought of it and immediately you're like, make my first video, or did it kind of have to happen over time?
Oh, it was a long process. I mean, YouTube came out around the time I was in middle school, and or at least it started getting big around then because I remember watching a lot of the Smosh videos
Dude,
back in the day.
yes.
Yeah, I was. They were hilarious videos. But like,
Yes.
I could remember a little while after that, I had wanted to make videos on YouTube just to kind of like I always had an interest in filmmaking, so it was kind of like I should probably pick up a camera and try to film something, but it didn't get serious until around the time I was graduating high school, where I had a couple of friends and I wanted to start a bodybuilding YouTube channel. And
Really?
this was, yeah, we were like 18, 19 years old, and they were afraid because they were like, we're not big enough to like, but I was like, dude, it doesn't matter. We'll like grow over time. But I really wanted to do that, and that kind of fell through. But I eventually went to college for like personal training and opened up a business doing that, and was also a Domino's delivery driver on the side.
Really?
Yeah, I was doing all of that stuff, and then eventually, Jurassic World had come out during me doing all of that, and
Okay.
it had blown me away. Like I was like, wow. I went into that movie with extremely. I had such trepidation about how good it would be because you never know, and all of my friends were like, "Oh, come on, Klayton, let's go see Jurassic Park 4 or whatever, Jurassic World." And I was like, yeah, let's go see it. And they knew I was a fan, and they knew that I would like scream if like something was wrong. And the movie ended, and they were like, "What'd you think about it, man?" I was like, "I'm trying to find like problems with it, but I think it was pretty good." And
Yeah.
like, they were saying, "Yeah, it's the best one since the original." I was like, "Well, hold on, I don't know about that. let me think about Lost World." And like I kept thinking, I was like, "Man, there was no gymnastics scene in this movie. There was no like boat thing." I was like, "Yeah, I guess it's the best one since the first." But over time, I started a YouTube channel in 2017. I felt really good. I felt like, anything's possible. I might as well put myself out there. I was doing a lot of movie reviews and just talking about all kinds of other stuff that I liked. And Jurassic Park was the thing that really started to get people's attention because there were Jurassic Park videos on YouTube, but they weren't exactly talking about the things I was talking about. It was more like, how many hybrids are going to be in Jurassic World 2, and will they have 2 heads and 4 eyes? And I was like, I don't think that's going to happen. And I would, talk about the books, and I would talk about like deleted scenes and stuff like that. And I would actually really research like some stuff I didn't know, like from comic books and older scripts. And as I would discover this information, I would share it with people, and most people seem to really like that. So the focus of the channel naturally just shifted to that, which made me very happy. I mean, it was the one thing, and I talked to you about this before we started recording, but the Star Wars situation, I thought I could have done a lot of Star Wars videos until I saw The Last Jedi, and I realized that I just didn't, I was not, that passion was dying. So, but Jurassic it couldn't die. Like I knew, I was like, I'm going to stick with Jurassic Park,
Oh yeah. No, and I'm really happy that you did.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of people out there that are really happy that you did. I talk with people on chats on Instagram and stuff like that, and everybody knows Klayton, and everybody's really happy that you definitely have these deep dive videos, because you're the one that I think really has been also a huge part in bringing back a lot of that Lost World passion. You know, I think a lot of people have really enjoyed the Lost World, but like I think you said it a little earlier, like you had to be like a little bit of a closet fan because people would hate it for the gymnastics scene, or because it wasn't, you know, like all about the original park and stuff like that. But I mean, who cares? I mean, like I think you really brought a lot of that interest back with your YouTube channel. But like I want to quickly go back though too. So I've seen like I think I've seen pictures on YouTube when I was looking up photos to try to grab for another video I was doing where you were name dropped. But so yeah, are you still a bodybuilder? Is like because you went to college for that and all that kind of stuff?
No, dude, I just ordered a Pizza Hut pizza, man. I'm not a bodybuilder anymore.
Oh, dude, that doesn't matter. I mean, like, so like it's just, I mean, working out is working out. You know, just staying healthy. But is that something that like is like a side hobby for you or something like that?
Oh, it used to be. It definitely used to be. I mean, I had a whole business around like personal training people and getting them in shape, and I was really into it. I mean, I'll put it this way: at one time, I considered going on what's called a cycle, which is like where you want to compete. You know,
dang.
Do the steroids, but
dang,
never did that. But yeah, the guy pulled out a thing from his book bag at college and it had a pig on the front of it. I was like, yeah, I'm not injecting that in my body. But I had like the whole thing planned out. It was like testosterone, Dianabol, and Nova. But like that was so long ago, and I'm not really that invested in it anymore. But I used to be. I was very into who was Mr. Universe and Mr. Olympia, and of course, everyone's an Arnold fan, right? So, like, but no, honestly, YouTube has made me gain quite a bit of weight. I have just kind of sit here and make the videos, and every once in a while, I'll like head to the gym and lose like 20 or 30 pounds, and I'll get back and I'll be, you know what? I just really like pizza, and like just sit down and eat it again. But no, it used to be something I was really into. Honestly, yeah.
Dude, I mean, I hear you though. I like pizza too. You know, I'm with you. So, but dude, I mean, that's a fascinating part of your history that I actually was not. I had no idea about that. I saw like somebody like made a picture of you with like like drew a picture of you like in the muscle pose, and I was like, what? Really? And so like that's just a really cool part of your history. That
yeah, I didn't see that until like a couple years after somebody drew it, and I remember laughing when I saw it because I was like, "Oh, if they only knew."
Oh man, it's you definitely put a lot of hard work into the videos, and we're definitely seeing that. But let's go back to the YouTube channel for a second here. So you didn't start specifically with JP, right? You like you were kind of doing like a broad scope of things, and then you kind of steered into JP. Like, but what brought you to the idea that you wanted to go to dinosaurs?
Oh, well, I mean, I've always been a Jurassic Park fan, and you know, naturally, when you run any type of business, like the most popular content's what you're going to run with. But it was a little more than that, really, because when I started YouTube, I was actually a bigger fan of like I just wanted to kind of be like Chris Stuckman or John Flickinger, and looking at it now, it was kind of like, well, I want to be like that, but I also just want to make whatever I want to make. And, you know, early on, I think the second video I ever made was whether or not Ian Malcolm would die in Jurassic World 2. I'm not even sure if the name Fallen Kingdom had been announced yet, but I would do videos around Jurassic World 2, and I would, you know, get really excited for it because I was such a fan of Jurassic World.
Oh, yeah.
And slowly but surely, I realized that I had a lot there was just so much of me that was interested in where the franchise could go. And I mean, I was also interested in Star Wars and other things like that, but Jurassic Park was the one thing where I was kind of, if something bad happened to Jurassic Park, it wouldn't necessarily kill it for me. Whereas some of the other franchises that literally did happen. But yeah, I think I guess it was just more natural because I wouldn't even realize until like later on that like out of the last 10 videos I did, like maybe 7 or 8 of them were Jurassic Park. And I actually had a thought a long time ago, I think around the first time I got paid, I was like, am I going to become a Jurassic Park YouTuber? Like, is this what's going to happen? And like, and I didn't really think about it after that too much. I had ordered like some comic books from Jurassic Park to like review and cover and share with people over the time. And just eventually that's what happened. And I gladly fell into it. I was like, I had no idea the franchise was this big, to be quite frank. And the more I discovered, the more I wanted to share. And it just fell into the business in the way that people really, really liked it. So I was like, this is it. This is what we're going with. This is what we're doing. So that's kind of how it happened. I can say that it was quite natural. Like there was I don't want to say the stars aligned because that's cringy and weird, but like it really did feel like this was supposed to happen this way. And I mean, it totally elevated like every aspect of my life out of that. Like, but yeah, that I kind of fell into it because I was a fan, and because I was a fan, I got rewarded. I feel like over the last 4 years.
Oh no, I that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. I really appreciate your wording, saying that you said that you feel like you got rewarded for being a fan and stuff like that. That's a really interesting way of approaching that, because
well, I'll be honest with you. There are people that will sometimes, not every YouTuber is like this, and there is actually not the bulk, but there will be people that will abuse things, and they will try to spin things and try to like, you can't fake that you're a fan of The Lost World. Like there was a lot of people making fun of that movie when I came on to like talk about it. They would really tear it to shreds. And while I will admit, like the older I've gotten, the more I can look at the flaws and say, hey, this is probably why people didn't like it back in the day. But like, there are people that I know that could kind of like, just because there's like gold in them dar hills, they would try to like twist it. And I was like, nah, man, I've been a fan of Lost World since the beginning. I love that movie. Like, let me tell you all about it. Like, yeah, I don't like the gymnastics scene, but I love like everything else. It was the T-Rex that killed the people on the boat. I swear to you, I can prove it. Like that was like my whole mindset. Yeah.
I mean, dude, it really, obviously it comes through that you are a true fan of Jurassic Park. I was talking with another guy last week, and then he was talking about, this person's a true fan, this person's a true fan, and it obviously comes through that you're a true fan of the franchise, but just the excitement of the way that you share about the franchise. And I think that has really also created a niche for Jurassic Park YouTubers, because like you brought up the idea of, am I gonna become a Jurassic Park YouTuber? Like, I honestly, I think I can count on 2 hands all of the quote-unquote Jurassic Park YouTubers that I know of. You might be able to do more since you're more involved with that scene, but but like when you look at other fandoms like Star Wars or Harry Potter, like or even actually Lord of the Rings, I had no idea that Lord of the Rings actually had as big of a scene on YouTube as it does.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, but there are tons of channels dedicated to those franchises out there, and I struggled to find a few. And then when you started going specifically, like, I honestly thought when I first started watching YouTube for Jurassic Park content back in 2018, I thought that you were it for the longest time, and then I found out about the Gaming Beaver. Then I found out about Dangerville does like monster movie stuff and stuff like that. And so I was able to kind of branch out a little bit more. But I mean, I honestly thought that you were it for the longest time. And so it's just really cool that that you really, I feel like you really helped make a niche for Jurassic Park YouTubers,
Well, I mean, maybe I did. I don't know. The Gaming Beaver was actually around before me, and I was watching his videos for quite a while. Now, he did a lot of, gaming. It was all specifically like Jurassic Park Builder, Jurassic World the game, and he did other stuff. He talked about the toys, and he talked about news. I'm sorry about my dogs barking.
No, it's all good.
I would run over there to control them, but the headphones would like rip out a thing and I'd fall down. That'd be really weird. There's a lot of people. I've met loads of friends and loads of people I know. There's Tommy H. There's Jeremy James Pruchik. There's Dangerville is very good friends with me. Jack is on YouTube under Pterodome 3000. He actually works officially on the movies.
Oh my gosh.
There's all kinds of people, but when I came on, it was most people were interested in Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. And there was the Stupendous Wave did videos on Jurassic Park back then, but most people were really, they didn't like Lost World, and they most certainly didn't like Jurassic Park 3. And I would talk about those movies, and I would bring up things that I thought was really interesting about them. And I felt the force, like this transitioning love for part 2 and part 3 over the last few years, but it was not like that early on. And Jurassic World was viewed as like, that's Jurassic Park 2. Let's get rid of this, Ian Malcolm movie and the other one where the raptor says Alan. But I would talk about it. I mean, there's totally a niche. There's totally opportunity for people to talk about it, especially with the franchise continuing to grow and grow, which is something that I think people really underestimate about Jurassic Park, because after Fallen Kingdom came out, there was sort of this narrative that people wanted to push that, oh, all the Jurassic Park movies are bad except the first one. And then like Battle at Big Rock came out. Everybody loved it. Camp Cretaceous Season 1 came out to so much people thinking it would be horrible. People loved it. Camp Cretaceous Season 2 came out and people expected it to be good, and a lot of people ended up liking it. And there's so much buzz around Dominion, and then we haven't even started talking about like Evolution or all the other stuff. But yeah, I mean, like, people have slowly begun to realize that like Jurassic Park is not a franchise that people hate, even if you're not super fans like we are. Most casual people do like the Jurassic Park movies. And it's weird, sometimes other YouTubers can't really see that because it's so new. Jurassic Park wasn't even really a franchise until Jurassic World. It was 3 disconnected movies and a ride. But it's been interesting. It's definitely been interesting.
Yeah, no, I definitely see that. I mean, like, especially if you're talking about like the disjointed feel of the original trilogy. I've said in past videos that the franchise before Jurassic World really felt like it had like that kind of Jaws feeling, the Jaws franchise. Like, the first movie's a classic, and then slowly over time they just lost their quality until they become laughably bad. And I was really hoping that JP4 wasn't going to do that, especially with like some of the leaks that they had of like the hybrid humans. Oh my word, no! That made me feel like I was just like, no, this cannot happen, because like that would literally be like the progression of the terrible Jaws series.
Yeah, what I've always tried to like explain it to people that are coming into the franchise now, or maybe some other people, I try to say like, the thing about the original Jurassic Park series is they weren't really, those first 3 movies don't really have a lot in common, and they're not really about anything except for the fact that there are dinosaurs in them. So it's kind of like the early Fast and Furious movies, where Paul Walker was in Too Fast, Too Furious, and then like the third one has Vin Diesel back at the end, but the only thing that really connected them was the fact that it was like fast cars. Until you get to Fast 5, and then it was like, the family stuff, the over the top crazy stunts and effects. Then you get to see like, that's kind of what I feel like happened with Jurassic World, even though I'll be honest with you, I think that I'm not comparing these two things in terms of quality. I know a lot of people don't like Fast and Furious, but I'm just saying, if you look at a product, like what they're trying to put out there, like the series didn't really become the series until Jurassic World, I feel. I mean, if that makes any sense.
No, I completely agree with you. That's the first time I've heard somebody say that just outright, but it makes perfect sense when you say it, because I don't think anybody saw that as like a connected series until Jurassic World was able to really say, by the way, we actually recognize that there was an original park. By the way, we actually are building off of this franchise. It's like, oh, there's actually a through line here. And so it's really fun to see that happen. And then Dominion's going to be fantastic with actually pulling in the new characters and the old characters and putting them together. That's going to be beautiful, but that's a whole different story and a whole different video, of course. But let's jump into something that I find kind of fascinating. Is how a lot of Jurassic influencers on Instagram, YouTube, and podcasts all over the spectrum, all over the community, a lot of them have had really cool opportunities based upon their positions in the franchise. And honestly, I give a lot of credit to the people at Universal, specifically Colin Trevorrow and a lot of his team, because they're like, we're making movies for the fans, let's make the fans happy. And so what are some of the coolest opportunities that you specifically were able to have because of your place as a strong voice in the Jurassic Park community?
Oh, wow. uh, what can I say? Well, to tell you the truth, early on in the 2018 days, I actually paid a lot of stuff out of pocket to get to where I had to go. Like, the Universal didn't really, as a company, they didn't really recognize me. Like, when Fallen Kingdom came out, it came out early in London, and I paid about $2,500 to like fly over and get in a hotel and watch the movie just so I could do a review on it, like in the hotel room. And like, because, you know, America, they had to wait a whole month.
Yeah.
And when the movie came out, it was actually, I think it had like a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it took like, it was interesting when that movie came out. Like, the immediate response was quite positive until it like slowly faded into like the 50 percentile range, and then it dropped to where it is now. That was actually, it's the only time I've ever really seen that happen. But they didn't really recognize me. Now for the Jurassic World ride, they did, but that was through like friends I have on the inside saying, hey, you know, Klayton has this video. He's concerned about, you know, you're still using these old animatronics in the ride, and he, you know, is there anything you could do to like talk to him and see what he would like? Or, anyways, they paid for me to get into Jurassic World for free. That was very cool.
That's amazing.
So I went on the ride, and I ended up liking it. I think it's a good ride. I prefer some of the aesthetic for the original ride. Unfortunately, I cannot speak up for the condition it was in, because it was very run down, and it did need a revamp as far as the animatronics and stuff goes. So, but yeah, I think probably the coolest thing was this fell through, but I was actually approached by, I don't even know if I can say this. Maybe I shouldn't say this.
Okay, yeah.
I'll put it this way. I was approached by people I did not expect to be approached by, from a very popular streaming platform, to possibly be like interviewed for something related to Jurassic Park. It fell through because of the pandemic and everything, but it was very sweet of them. It was very cool. I don't even know really what happened, but that was something from, I won't say specifically what it was, because I don't even know if it came out.
Probably a good idea. Yeah, probably a good idea.
Yeah, but yeah, we were in talks to do that. That was probably the biggest thing, I think, for me, and it was very humbling. Actually, it's very humbling. Yeah, but I should probably end it there.
Yeah, sounds good. But I mean, that is a very big opportunity that obviously did result from your voice in the community. It's to be able to be some sort of authority on it, to be invited to do something like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah, it wasn't official. It wasn't with Universal. I'll just say that it was through someone else about the original film. I don't want people to be screaming that I was like on Camp Cretaceous or something.
Yeah, he was originally going to voice over. Yeah, so originally, I'm just kidding. No, like let's not do any of that. But yeah, maybe we'll have voiceovers for the Baryonyx in the future. From
yes, it was me.
Yeah, right, dude. That would be hilarious. Oh my word! Just all of a sudden, hey, it's Klayton Fioriti.
I'd love to be a guy that gets eaten. I'd love to hey guys, take it.
Oh my word. Okay, so we need to create a couple of petitions here. Number one, to get Jurassic Gen in a future Jurassic project. Number two, to get Klayton Fioriti as a guy that just says, "Hey, guys, do your send off before getting eaten." That yes. All right, Colin Trevorrow, please listen. All right, here we go. But oh, dude, that's amazing. But so I mean, to go on that ride, though, I did see when you went on that ride specifically in Hollywood, and I was just like, dang, this is amazing. And of course, back in 2018, that was during the 25th anniversary of Jurassic Park, which I mean was a very, very big deal. And so like when I saw that you were going on that ride out, and I saw that ride, I was like, at some point in the future, I'm going to go to Hollywood and experience that too. So it's a little more difficult right now because of obvious stuff. But like at some point, I mean, there's been a lot of inspiration for me wanting to do that, including your videos. But there's a thing also. The fact is, you're not exclusively with Jurassic Park, which might shock some of the people listening. It's just like, what? He doesn't live and breathe JP. But the reality is, you have actually a lot of interest. We've already talked about the fact that you used to be into bodybuilding, but what are some current projects or hobbies that you're doing besides your Klayton Fioriti Jurassic Park channel? What are some other things that you're invested in?
Well, I actually have very recently started putting in the legwork to get another YouTube channel off the ground called Dragon Curve.
Yes.
And this is all this. I swear a lot on that YouTube channel, so fair warning. It's basically anything but Jurassic Park. It's Resident Evil, it's Mortal Kombat, it's Turok, it's Jaws, it's Predator, it's Alien. It's just me talking about and playing games of all kinds of stuff. And that's one thing I've got going on. I've been helping my friend Jack, who works with Jurassic Park. He's created his own animated series, and I work as kind of like a executive producer on that, as like a
really
kind of financer, I guess you could say. I put a lot of money into it, but it's an animated series that's called Dino Defenders Extreme, and he's been really working really hard at doing all of that stuff. But apart from that, I play video games. That's about it.
Hey man, I mean that I play a lot of video games too, so I definitely have no fights against that. I mean, so yeah, video games are fantastic. Are you more into like FPS or like a lot of the, because I mean, you play Resident Evil, you have like the third-person shooters too, and like that kind of stuff. But like, what's probably the thing that you play the most?
I mean, I'm really into some of the more. Actually, I'll be honest with you. I was going to say I'm into like survival horror in general, but I play the heck out of Crash Bandicoot.
Dude, really? Like the original stuff, like the remasters that they just put out?
Oh, all of them. I've still got a PlayStation, so I mean, I've got like, I actually used to collect games. That's something I used to do. Collecting old games, actually, even from Japan.
Wow.
But yeah, I've always loved Crash Bandicoot, and I love the remastered Insane Trilogy. Crash Bandicoot 4 is really hard, by the way. But yeah, that's one thing I'm really into. I like first-person shooters. I like everything, I guess. There's nothing I won't play unless it's like really bad. So
yeah, I have some friends that right here in town that would just like talk days and days with you about Crash Bandicoot. They're super fans. So
oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
they would talk your ear off on that. But so shout out to them. But one more thing too, going back to Jurassic Park before we kind of get close to the end here. So obviously we have Dominion that got pushed back to 2022, and being, I mean, I'm just going to call you somewhat of I'm going to call you an authority in this situation here.
Oh.
What do you want to see from the Jurassic World franchise post Dominion? Because we've already had some people say that this is just the end of the beginning, that Dominion's only the end of the beginning for the franchise. We already saw that, you know, like Camp Cretaceous has 2 seasons out already. I mean, that's supplementary stuff to the actual 6-movie saga that will happen. So like, what do you personally want to see on the other side of Dominion?
Wow. Well, okay, I'll try to keep everything realistic. I mean, there have been rumors of the live action TV series, so that's something I'd really like to see. Depending on who makes it out of Dominion alive, you know, I can't imagine they'd kill off any of the main 5, who I'll say like Owen, Claire, Alan, Ellie, and Ian. But like, if they all make it out alive, like I would love. I mean, imagine a show where, I don't know, Minnie Driver returns to play Anne or something from Jurassic Park Trespasser. And then maybe you could have like Alan Grant show up in an episode and he's like, oh, hey, there's something going on over here. Let me get my buddy on it. And then the next episode is like Malcolm or Owen or Claire. You know, it'd be really cool to see something like that. I guess as far as the dinosaurs are concerned, I just really want to see them all over the planet and photographed and presented to the audience like animals in a way that is, in a way that I guess you could compare it to something like a documentary that David Attenborough or someone would do. But I kind of really want to dive into that. Now, they can't do that forever.
Right. So
I guess you start from there. I don't know if they could do movies in the future, honestly, with the way theaters are, but I really want them to focus on plot lines that still connect these characters and also introduce new characters. But now the concept of Jurassic Park has been shotgunned all over the world. So you can put these animals in any sort of landscape and it would be original and new, because we haven't really seen anything outside of islands for the most part.
Right.
I want to see dinosaurs everywhere in new locations. I want to see characters pop in and out of the frame, and I want to see the series go in a direction that's more paleontologically accurate, but also more in depth with the genetics and sort of the warnings that Michael Crichton talked about in the books. Honestly, speaking of Resident Evil, I would actually really think that if they looked at that franchise for like what they've done with like bioweapons being all over the world, it'd be very interesting to see how, you know, dinosaurs break out in like Spain or Africa or China or Australia or something like that. It's I have high hopes, and I guess, yeah, I kind of just want them to continue doing what they're doing, just not letting go of like any of the characters and stuff that we've already grown to love.
I completely agree with that. I mean, I don't know if they're going to be killing off anybody in Dominion, but I mean, like, if you just, you have to give either a ceremonious ending to people that are established people from the franchise, or you need to really, you know, really enshrine them and make them that your main heroes. And so I honestly, I don't think that Owen Grady or Claire are going to be going anywhere anytime soon. You know, I just don't think they're going to be dying. So I would like to see something with them as well. But for me personally, would you want to actually revisit anything from the past? Like do another period piece from the 90s? Like,
oh, absolutely. I mean, we could do a whole short film or movie on things like Hurricane Clarissa hitting Site B, or maybe even the actual building of the original Jurassic Park, or the birth of the Spinosaurus, or the building of Jurassic World, which isn't necessarily in the 90s, but like you could go back in time and do like a whole prequel trilogy set like in between each movie, like between JP and The Lost World, here's the movie. Between The Lost World, Jurassic Park 3, here's, you know, you could do that. I'd definitely be down for that. I don't know if they'll do that though. Like, that's the one thing, is I'm not sure they would go there, because, you know, as a company, they're probably thinking, what's the most marketable thing we could do? With like a prequel, they have like this set thing of like, okay, well, they hadn't cloned this dinosaur yet, so we can't use that. Or, I mean, you could work around that obviously, but I don't know. Like, I feel like it's more practical that they'd go in the direction of post-Dominion, but I would love if they went back in time to the 90s or even the 80s or something. Like, I'd be all over it. Colin Trevorrow talked about that whole scene for Fallen Kingdom with Benjamin Lockwood and John Hammond cloning the elephant. Oh my God, I'd love to see that. That's the big part of the book. Like, yeah, please.
Yeah, I seriously, I'm with you. I want to see more of that time period, because I mean, and honestly, I know, because we're big fans that have been fans of the franchise. You a super fan for much longer than me, but I mean, I was still a fan of Jurassic Park even before Jurassic World came out. But so like I'm drowned in nostalgia. I want the black and white, you know, caution tape. I want the old 90s computers with like overgrown stuff strewn everywhere. Specifically, I want to revisit the embryonics lab and figure out what the heck was going on there from Jurassic Park 3. Because I mean, you did a video in the past of like teasing like how the filmmakers originally wanted to tease so many secrets there, but then they just kind of didn't. They just kind of like showed, hey, stuff happened, and then nothing really came of that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would love to go back and see that again, but hopefully. But I you know, you explained it in a very palatable way, and I think you're right. I don't know if we're going to be able to go back there in the future, but
I mean, they could always do it. I just don't know how practical it would be at the moment. Like, we might have to wait like until, I don't know, the 2030s or something for them to do that. But I'd love for them to do it. I mean, the Embryonics Administration, they had like a tank with mosasaurs in it, with like scientists still on the island. Like, they had all those other dinosaurs in the formaldehyde tanks. They had like a lot of stuff planned, but I mean, because the movie's script wasn't finished and because they were rushing, they were just like, run through the building. Okay, now we're outside and Udesky's dead.
Yeah, bing, bang, boom, and that's how it works. But
yeah.
But I mean, there's plenty of things that can be said about JP3, but ultimately, it's still part of the history. And I hope that we can go back. But Klayton, I want to say that's all the time that we have for today. But thank you so very much for being on the channel today, and for being able to just really kind of dive into who you are and really how you got to where you're at. Is there any final things that you want to say to the community, or just about about what you're doing right now with YouTube before we sign off here?
Oh, I want to thank you. I'm very happy to be here. This is very nice. You've been nothing but nice to me this whole time.
Well,
This is very cool. I don't usually do something like this, and I do want you to really understand that this is fun, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. Like I'm into this. As for everyone else, I just thank you for watching my videos. This is not something I had in mind for my life. I didn't really think that this would play out this way for me as a person. And I'm thankful that you have continued to watch my videos, or if you've ever watched it before in the past and have gotten enjoyment out of it, it means a lot to me. I mean, this is something that it's my name. It's connected to me as a person, and I'm extremely thankful that you've just been supporting me for this long, if you're still out there, anybody. But yeah, thank you again. This has been a real honor. I'm quite happy.
I'm very happy. I'm happy that you're happy. I'm happy that you can have a good experience. And so everyone, thank you so much again for watching this video. And make sure to go and if for some reason you haven't already, go and check out Klayton Fioriti's channel. Subscribe to Klayton, and then also we would love it if you subscribe here to Dino Park Media, joining the Dino Park Media family. We've got content coming out every week. And guys, before we go, know that you're loved. We'll see you in the next video.